welcome to the Roadster Rumble, Season 8, round number 5 tonight from Spa. We are here tonight, ready to do broadcast and ready to do battle. One of the best racing circuits in the world, the 86s versus the MX5s. Welcome aboard, my name's Luke. You're watching Racestars TV. Let's get into this one tonight. As we head down to the track, this lone qualifying session sees the cars out on the track all by themselves. We flick through a few competitors shortly, and if you want to see someone in particular tonight, let us know and we'll try and get them on the screen. Keith Logan there, currently P6 once again tonight. Blue stripe means the 86s, the Toyota 86s. The grey stripe is the MX5s. Jesse Carriage currently leading that class. P4 outright, good job. Long way to go in qualifying though. We do have the top drivers coming out shortly for a 10-minute shootout, so stay tuned for that as we watch Jesse in the Lockneck racing car just finish a lap. Tyson Gordon's gone P2 in classes. Glenn Boyd now goes to the top of the times. Martindale still holding on to P3, just crossing the line now and stopping, so that's the end of his qualifying performance. As we see Bard Rodkin in the MX5 just finishing up a lap now as well. So welcome tonight. Get involved in the chat. Keep me company tonight. It's been a big couple of days. I'm running on about 2 hours sleep at the moment. And, well, you're going to hear it in my voice all night tonight. So if no one talks to me, I'm probably going to do a lot of this, showing camera angles of these beautiful race cars and not a lot of talking. So g'day. Let's get into this. Group A cars out on the field now. Let's have a listen. Good looking shot as they come up the hill there. Full commitment from Aaron Oliver, who's pretty quick. P7, currently sitting 5th in class. Glenn Boyd on top, like I said. Neville Meal has gone in P2. Times at the moment about 10th, in fact almost 2/10 second between the top two cars. It's a pretty big margin. Andrew Roberts out on the track for the MX5's 25th, and heading around to try and set a time. Got some front end damage on that car that's going to hinder his performance, and we do have some drivers tonight for the first time in this series giving us a little bit of an insight into their racing. We'll check out a couple of live cameras later on, which will be very, very cool, as Jared Hughes comes out of the 86. Isn't that a beautiful looking race car? Looking the part here on a Monday night for the Roadster Rumble. If you want to get involved in this series, still a chance to do so. You've just got to head over to Roadster Rumble, look it up on Facebook. Great community of drivers, and they get out there, do their practice sessions and then races every Monday night. You can get involved in a race like this and you can be out there battling wheel to wheel with an MX5 or an 86. Pretty cool. It's good to see Brenton Hobson back tonight as well. We missed Hobbo last week. A couple of the big guns aren't here tonight, but Hobbo certainly we won to beat tonight. Jack Boyd, another competitor. There he is, the JB racing car. He has been super consistent throughout this series. Since I started broadcasting, and I've seen Jack Boyd win plenty of races, always battle for a podium. And tonight we'll see once again the old arch nemesis, Brenton Hobson, go up against him. And how good does the car look? Drifts it into the corner down the hill here at Spa, and then you start to descend all the way down. So carrying as much corner speed as you can, just right on the limit through there. Kissing the apex, and the Group A car kicking up a bit of grass and dust on the exit as well. Ryan Casher, a newbie to this season, has been super quick as well in the We've Been Hooning car. And Greg's going to come in for a chat shortly too, but it's good to see Ryan. He's probably due a win, I reckon. He's been good, like I said, this season. We're up to round 5 already, so we're hooking through it. And we continue to visit these wonderful circuits around the world. Damien Seeger, another one good to watch in the 86. Let's keep an eye on him tonight and see if he can't grab himself a podium or a win for WBT Racing. He was really strong last season. Needs consistency now to try and get back up to the top. And Henry Fenton, came across Henry in the Group B, I think it was, when I first started working with these guys, and now a fully fledged top 10 Group A driver, and pretty much always has it up there in this shootout now. New qualifying format, which Greg has set up for us, showing the top 10 getting the last 10 minutes to get out there. And they do it all by themselves. There's no one else on the racetrack. It's called a lone qualifying session, so You've only got yourself to blame if you get it all wrong. So let's stay on board here with Henry for half a lap or so and see what we can see and what we can do here. Hard on the brakes, you can just hear down the shifts. Clunk, clunk. And then hard on the throttle. This is where you'll be pinned to the floor, I think, in an 86 for the next half a minute or so. It's a long run down, obviously, through Eau Rouge and then the Hangar Straight. Not the Hangar Straight, where am I tonight? Silverstone. Wrong straightaway. But yeah, listen, it's pinned, absolutely pinned. The Camel Straight. Get it right, Luke. Get your brain in gear. And just flat out. Now that's pinned and not really a lot of speed building. So you can see that 186 kph, 183 in fact, just building slowly. That means with that slow build of speed, top end speed, you're going to see plenty of drafting. One of my favourite races ever was at this place. I did a fantastic Skip Barber race way back in the day, and you would just overtake and then be overtaken and overtake again, all in the space of Camel Straight, one of the greatest, longest straights in motorsport. And tonight, like I said, the MX-5s will be a draft fest, but I think the 86s will be right up there as well, as we watch Moz DC Racing Car putting his best efforts in right now to try and go to the top. As far as the timing goes at the moment, we'll have a quick look at, you can see from the timing screen, Glenn Boyd, provisional pole at the moment, and a 2-minute 47.444, so it's quite a long lap in one of these cars, approaching sort of the 3-minute mark to try and get a lap in. So you've got plenty of time, and you've got to get every corner right. That's the key. There's a couple of drivers standing by there, you can just see on your screen. One still loading in, and a couple of drivers there just checking their phones and say g'day. So give us a wave if you're watching the stream. You are now on camera. So good to see you guys tonight, and good luck for the racing as this series also starts to there we go, there's a nice little wave there. This series also starts to get a few of the drivers. That's Graham Ellis at the bottom there and Darren Linus up the top. So good to see you guys ready to go, and we're watching the times tick away here. Still just 5 minutes to go, not a lot of time. By the time you do an out lap at this place and then you get your 2 flying laps in, your 10 minutes dissolves very, very quickly. There's Jared Hughes coming around to finish his lap. Another beautiful turned out 86. A good looking race car. Obviously goes P3 to Fenson, so I thought he might have gone a little bit higher than that, but Fenson to P3 as Jack Boyd goes to the top. Hobson right behind him, 3/10 the difference between Boyd and Hobson. Lee Harrison goes P3, and let's just see what Dylan Canto can do. Just coming through the final couple of corners now, and Canto comes flying out of that final chicane, heads down across the line, and without a time on the board goes P2. Decent effort once again within 3/10. So look at that buffer between Boyd and Canto, just on 3/10, and then Canto, Hobson and Harrison all within about 5/100ths of a second. So it's super close at the moment for P2. We'll keep an eye on Jared Hughes as he goes to set a lap. So Hughes, Kasha, Nankaro yet to set a lap in qualifying. Matty T also has not set a lap. So a couple of those drivers are going to need to, for a better term, pull their finger out and get this done. It's only 4 minutes to go. They probably only see the one more lap this qualifying session. So Jared on his way. 2-race format again tonight, 2 30-minute races. So around this place, what have we got? About 3 minutes, about 9 laps, 10 laps, maybe 10 or 11 laps in fact, depending on how the fuel stop strategy goes. I presume 1 pit stop tonight. And roughly a field of 36 cars out there again tonight. So big field of cars, pretty evenly matched between 86s and MX-5s, about half-half. So it should be pretty decent to watch them do battle around here. Like I said, the slipstream, particularly lap 1, when you've got all those 36, 37 cars bunched up, a train of cars that head down that straight for the first time. It's going to be incredible to watch. Greg's joining me now. We'll grab him in for a quick chat. So g'day Greg, and g'day Andrew as well. Welcome to the broadcast, guys, and here we are, Spa, for round number 5 of this fantastic series.
How you going, Luke? How are you, Luke?
Good, Dutchy. Good, Greg. Tell us a bit about what's going on tonight, mate. It's just watching a qualifying wrap up now, obviously, with the top 10. Geez, they're quick.
Yeah, there's a few boys not in tonight, so Jared Filsell unfortunately didn't make it, so it should open the field up, especially at a track like this with the draft. So it's just about anybody's race, I think.
About 3/10 between the top two drivers. That's a little bit further than I would expect. Hobson back in third now, so, and the pressure's on with this, 2 laps around a place like this. You got to get every little millimetre right.
We do, and we've got a new championship running for the last 4 rounds, Luke. We called it Dash for Cash. So every incident point you get tonight, practice, qualifying, race, you're losing money off your racing budget. So a few of the boys are pretty keen to cash in. So yeah, you might see a little bit more conservative driving, hopefully, tonight.
Fair enough. Hey, as Harrison goes to the top now by 83 thousandths of a second, decent time. Lee Harrison could be on for a good result tonight, showing some speed at the end there, and they don't get a draft in qualifying, so that's outright speed by itself. Yep. That's a good night for him, or good start to the night.
It is, yeah.
Hobbo will try. I don't think he'll get another lap in here. We're going to hard cut this at the 20-minute mark, or is he'll finish the lap he's on, because he's on his way.
He should be able to finish the lap. They usually give him a little bit more time. But Hobbo was running late tonight, so...
That's not like Hobbo's. Everyone else is in the pits now, so it's just Hobbo out there by himself, the track to himself, to try and do something special here. But it's what's he done first sector there? Just trying to bring up some sector times. We'll see if we can do some comparison here. I don't know if he's on a quicker lap here. So Hobson versus Canto. We'll just look at this. 49 seconds is the first sector. It's a long way into the lap. And actually, yeah. I don't think that's updated. So. But not looking like he's improving. In fact, I think he's having a bit of Hobbo fun now.
That's not like Hobbo.
The Hobbo expression session we came to love last season.
You might have noticed tonight, Luke, we've actually got some boys with their race cam set up for you as well.
Yeah, Darren Linus, there he is, looking good and ready to go. He's just chatting to who would he be chatting to right now? His teammates or?
Yeah, he'd have probably Andrew Roberts, maybe Stephen Kennedy on Discord, I would imagine.
There you go. So he's in the zone, getting ready to go. We've also got Graham Ellis, I think it is.
Yes, Graham.
There he is, and there you go. Hard cut on the quali. So 20 minutes done. Hobbo gets the boot. And it's time to go racing, so we'll go through the grid. Are you going to stick with us tonight, Dutchy?
Yeah, mate. I'll be here for 1 race, maybe 2.
Fantastic. Right, here we go. So the grid coming up on your screen right now. And your favourite drivers. Well, Lee Harrison puts it on pole position from Jack Boyd, P2. Casher on the second row. We knew he'd be up there somewhere.
Welcome.
So there you go, Ryan Casher. I said at the start, probably due a win, I reckon. Let's see how he goes tonight with Brenton Hobson alongside Dylan Cantor off the third row with Damien Seeger. Then it's Moz and Glennie Boyd down there in 8th place. Neville and Wayne Losh round out your top 10. Henry Fenton starts from 11th tonight with Tyson Gordon, the first of the MX5s, starting out at P12. So decent effort for him once again. He's been strong. As we go to the next page of the grid, it's Cody Harrison, Aaron Oliver behind that MX5. Jesse Carriage goes 15th ahead of Keith Logan, Edwards and Belitho down there in 18th place. Mundale, Harrison, Cuthbertson down in 21st tonight with Scott Baker and Thorne and Holmes running at your top 24. 25th on the grid, and further down the order it is Hodgetts and Gogol down in 26th. Darren Linus starts from 27th with Maguire, Paradiso and Rodkin running at your top 30. Graham Ellis from 31st on the grid. Ruben Borst starts alongside him with Kennedy, Roberts, Hughes and Tesserero down in 36th place on the grid, a long way back tonight. And not sure what happened to Matty in quali, but didn't get a lap in. Now Carrier will start from the back of the order. And that's your race. Ready to get underway. Downhill start. We're using the endurance pit lane here. So do you have to hold the brake or does it hold it for you? But it's downhill. Look at that.
Yep, no, it's just sitting here nice and quiet, ready to go.
Here go the revs. The revs rise and we'll watch the start. Lee Harrison, can he get away and get a good start and a run before they try and attack him? The green light comes on. Plenty of smoke. Check it out. They all bag it up. And we get away nicely for the first time tonight. They head down the hill and 2-3 wide. That's game as they now try and get themselves into some sort of order. Back in the pack, pretty clean start Not really seeing any issues. The MX-5's already dicing with a couple of the 86s, and now it's Toe City as they try and filter in and find their way forward. It's a wide pit of racetrack. Look at this. It's a huge snake of cars dicing like you would see in a Formula Ford race as they snake their way down this big long straightaway. Bit of a contact at the front there is, I think down the inside, is that Canso? It's almost 3 wide there. Kasha backs out of it and says, I'm not getting part of that. And now he has a second punt at it. I think he's got a bit of damage. I'm not sure if there was contact or not. Definitely there was a Dylan, I think Dylan Canto, a little bit of contact with Kasha as they came through that part of the track. And Hobson, he's just hanging back, I think, being a little bit watchful in the background. Moz, Seeger and Mel going in there all together, and Wayne Losh as well. He's having a good old fight. He goes right around the long way. Behind him, we've got Henry Fenton, Cody Harrison, and who made some good starts? Ann Cuthbertson's up too. Jared Hughes up 9 spots in the first couple of corners here tonight. So he's on a charge. Obviously, the 86 has got a little bit more straight line speed, and he'll take advantage of that as he takes on after a couple of these drivers. Ellis is around, unfortunately. So there's been a bingle in the back play, and who else is involved in that? I think maybe Maguire. Andrew Roberts is hanging back with some rear end damage. Ellis has got big damage on that car. So he's in a bit of trouble. In fact, now he's in the fence. So Graham Ellis, oh, and that's going to look at the look of sadness on his face, and he goes back to the pits. And unfortunately, not the way he would have wanted to start race 1 tonight, boys.
No, that is a lot of damage there on poor Big G's car.
Big G, I like that. It's a good nickname.
What happened to Jared Hughes, Luke?
Oh, it's a good question. Greg, what did happen to you?
I don't know. I was just cruising along like Miss Daisy, and all of a sudden this big blue Toyota 86 come flying up, and it took me a while to work out it's actually Jared.
Yeah,
so.
no, he's like I thought you meant he might have crashed. He's actually on the pump here. He's up 12 spots into 23rd, so he's come from the back of the grid, and he's about to make that a few more as he really attacks. Look at that, late on the brakes. Reese gets ahead of him. Oh, there's contact. He sneaks through and he makes it through before 3 or 4 cars get together. Holmesy, did you get through there?
I did.
Oh, mate, you would have got the box seat on that one. So that was a bit exciting.
Yeah.
So the opening lap. Oh, and a spinner. Fence and out of control, out of shape. Almost gets wiped out by a couple of cars that sneak through. He's just on the exit of 1, if any of you are interested. In fact, it's not really 1, is it? Because with the endurance pits, it's not turn 1. It's turn 1 in Grand Prix world.
That's an exciting opening lap.
It is. So just having a quick look now to see where Hobson is still sitting in 5th place. Dylan Canto has been really aggressive at the start here. Look at him once again pushing down. He wants to stay here with Ryan Casher, who's now up into P2 on the back of Jack Boyd, the race leader. And Jack, as he's going to have his work cut out for him. You might think he will have a chance to walk away, but there's no way. There's no way that Ryan Casher is going to let him go. And here we go. Maybe a bit more bump drafting. This is great racing at the front. Look how close they are. And there's a little touch, I think, mid-corner. Casher is just letting him know he's there.
Yeah, like you said in qualifying, Luke, I think the draft's going to play a big thing here. You know, probably, for me personally, I probably wouldn't want to be leading the race this early. I'd be happy sitting behind a car and leaving it till the last few laps to make a move. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out at the front.
That run, obviously, down to the last chicane is, on the last lap. You're right. Maybe you don't want to be leading this one. How many laps will you just practice that overtake? If you're sitting in P2 or P3, you just get the, the dress rehearsal after dress rehearsal of what you're going to do on that last lap if that is the best place to be. Big flash of exhaust flame there from Ryan Casher's car. Good to see iRacing. Nice job.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, mate. Even around to the last sector of the track coming into the chicane, that's probably the best spot to make a move. So, like you said, you just, dress rehearsal and, pick your spot, see where the person in front's weaker, and leave it for the last lap or 2.
I wonder how many guys, though, can do the old dress rehearsal, or they just, the red mist comes down. You just want to lead on how many guys can actually, like I say, hold back and not just try and push to be in front.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to lead a race, mate. It's quite enjoyable leading a race, but I think we've got a lot of, smart people in this field, smart racers, and the likes of Boyd, Cashes and that, they'll just play the game. Hobson, if he gets up there, they'll just play that game, mate, until the last lap.
Yeah, it's just some passes back in the pack. That's Scott Baker trying to make some positions back after his early spin. Edwards is in the same boat. Fenton and Reese are in the pit lane, so the Stone Cold Racing A and B running a team strategy here into the pits as Dylan Canto, now the quickest car out on the racetrack with a 246.3, and Hobson at the moment just sitting back in 5th place, 1.6 seconds off the lead. He'll be looking after the tyres and preserving some fuel, obviously. One pit stop tonight at some point during this first of our 2 half-hour races.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You hit the nail on the head. Definitely, you can fuel save around this track. So, off the Camel Straight, roll out of that throttle a little bit earlier. You're going to have that pace if you're in the tow. So, you could save a little bit per lap, and that could obviously help you at the end of the race.
Yeah, there's Darren, who's dropped, unfortunately, to the back of the grid with Andrew Roberts. He's way back out of position, but good to see him on camera there. And he's a relaxed racer, this man. He's doesn't look like he's even working up a sweat tonight. Looking very good.
It's been a bit of a handful back here.
Busy in the pack, Greg?
Yeah, the couple of the 86 boys got a bit willing last lap, so it sort of spread everybody out a little bit.
Just having a look at you now. So sitting in 20th place, up 4. You've got Bard Rodkin a couple of spots back too. He's had a really good start to this race, and he's now pushed forward 8 positions. Bard, there he is, in the red, black and blue VPW car. So yeah, good job.
Flames look a bit nice.
Yeah, a little scuff on the back. I think he's had a bit of a touch up from someone, but yeah, that's a good little livery he's got there. The Pro Flow. All the cars look great. I mean, you can't really speak badly about anyone's livery on the car. Everyone puts that effort in just to make this what it is. It's, you want your car to stand out. You want it to pop, especially when you see it on the broadcast. And here comes a car that pops. Brenton Hobson. He's got the beautiful wave runner livery on that car, and he's looking like he's about to line up Lee Harrison here and move himself up into P4, right on board with Hobson. And once again, he just backs out. You can see Canto as well, looking to the inside, but doesn't commit.
Yeah, good little battle pack forming here between these few.
Further back as well. I mean, you got this battle. You go back to, he just pulls into the pits, as I said that. Cody Harrison was getting right close to the back of Oliver. And you picked it at the start, Greg. Jared Hughes, now up into 11th, can you believe? So, not sure what happened in qualifying for him, but he's the fastest driver out there. Just did a 2:45.8.
Yeah, he was quite quick in practice. I was very surprised. He obviously had some issues in qualifying, so... Oh, Ray, not there.
So Casher leads now. He's gone to the front from Jack Boyd. Boyd obviously thinks, it's my turn to save some fuel. Let's swap this around a bit. Dylan Canto still watchful in 3rd. It's Lee Harrison, who dropped 3 positions off the start. He's now just watching his mirrors with Hobson. Moz is up 1 into 6th, and any second now. Where's Glenn Boyd? There he is. The gap, I'm looking at the gap from Boyd back to the fast-paced Hughes. It's 5.3 seconds, but coming down quickly, so keep an eye on that. If Hughes can attach himself to the back of Boyd, he's probably got the next 5 competitors who are all within, a couple of seconds. He'll probably be able to pick them off one at a time just by the race pace he's got at the moment.
Yeah, once he gets into that tow, that initial tow of Boydie, that'll play a big part. Get him up there nice and quickly. So I think you're right, mate. He'll start picking some people off pretty quickly.
Yep. Looking good. So we're on board now with Glenn Boyd. Let's just watch a bit of this. Clear pictures here. It's beautiful, beautiful weather conditions here at Spa. I love this blue sky. Not a cloud to be seen. Fantastic.
Oh, I'd love to see some rain on iRacing, though.
Not far away, they reckon. But yeah, look at the run that Boyd just gets through there. Oh, and that car disappeared. That's Neville, Mel just doing the old now you see it, now you don't. So, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty off-putting when that happens, when you get a car blinking right in front of you.
Well, the last thing you want is for them to reappear on top of you.
Yes, I've had that happen.
Oh, he's had a
So just watching
internet issues.
We're just watching Boyd here try and line up a move. I think they're great to watch this onboard. You can just see the way the cars move under brakes as well. Just trying to obviously get to the real point of, you know, the limits of your braking, but then try and keep stability. That car was really moving all over the place, and that was Neville in front, who has had a few little dropouts, and now Wayne Losh under immense pressure too. Look at the turn in, and Losh punches out of the corner well. But as I said, look at this group of cars. If you look where Kasher is, no one has been able to get away. The top 9 cars, in fact the top 10 cars, covered by 3.7 seconds. And as soon as Hughes, and he's got it down to, the gap is down to about 3.5 now. So, or is it just grown? No, it's 4.2, sorry. So if Hughes can get that gap down, he could be a top 5 contender. There's still 17 or 18 minutes to go in the race, so plenty of time for him to sneak towards the front.
Yeah, it's such a long lap too, with this massive battle pack that's going on here. Obviously, you know, they're going to slow each other down in certain spots, so it won't take much for that catch-up to happen, I don't think.
Decent. A few people tuning in, so a couple of shout-outs. We've got Adamson John. Actually, I've got to go right back to the start. Eddie Metz is in the house. Hello, Eddie. Anthony Connors there. Keith, Graham Ellis, who are racing out there tonight. Bard Rodkin racing. Darren, of course, racing. Nick Nancaris says, good luck, boys. Spike Goddard's in the house, long time viewer, intermediate commenter, says Spike Goddard. When are we going to do a guest appearance and race? Well, Spike, fix your computer and get out there and race. And people on YouTube as well. And Zach Kidd's in the house. And says Bianca Gordon, say happy and clean racing, all the rumblers. So it's good to see everyone's brought their family and friends along again tonight to watch this race. And that's what it's all about. It's this community spirit. And that's why, Greg, you know, you get a broadcast with some great sponsors. I know you put a lot of your own hard-earned cash into this to make it all happen, mate. It's good to see that, you know, people come in and watch it and appreciate, you know, watching their loved ones get out there and do what they love. I mean, this is a sport. Sim racing is a sport. You can go watch and play cricket or soccer on the weekend. I reckon watching half an hour of sim racing is probably more exciting than watching a game of cricket. Some would argue.
Depends what seat you're in, Luke.
Some would argue. Watching Hobbo now try and sneak his way through. So this is, you know, Hobbo had a week off last week, didn't he? So he's maybe just taken a week to get back into the swing of this.
Could be.
Well, either that or he's just doing the Hobbo game. He can see these guys in front. They're constantly changing positions. Once again, it's Canto. Oh, Canto in the... No, sorry, it's Jack Boyd in the pits. And who went in with him? Moz, Seeger and Losh all jumped in too. I was just about to say that they're constantly changing positions, and the wily old fox, who shouldn't call him an old fox, he'll get up for that. The wily fox sits in behind Brenton Hobbs, and he's just assessing the situation. Half point coming up shortly, and he'll know what to do in the last lap or two.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's going to be interesting to see who blinks first in regards to coming into the pits, and how that'll play out in the next 5 minutes or so.
Well, looking at times too is important, because, you know, you see how much fuel they put in the car. Who wants to play that risky game of, you know, jumping back into a tow and trying to save some fuel, or do you just want to put the extra seconds worth of fuel in, and then you know you can go 10 tenths? To me, it was always put the extra in and not have to worry about where you're at.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, mate. You never know if you're going to make a mistake and, you know, drop out of that tow, and then you've buggered yourself for the rest of the race. You know, I think you're spot on there, mate. You know, just chuck that extra bit of fuel in and play it safe. Yep.
It's looking good at the front. Cash has just pulled a slight little lead now, so half a second. First time he's had a chance now just to pull away slightly from Lee Harrison. That'll take a bit of the pressure off him, but as we've alluded to many times tonight, this track is one of those ones where in a low-powered car like these, you're not going to be able to break away and pull that probably 2 second gap you need to break the tow. they're always going to probably be able to suck back up onto the back of you shortly. But, you know, like I said, just as I said, that 7/10 of a second. So he has continued to get this lead out on lap 6. Is this the lap where Cash just goes, well, I've been hiding a bit here. Now I'm going to show my hand.
Yeah, very much could be, mate. This the time where he checks out, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
So all the little micro battles here. Hobson's still on the back of this 4-pack, but like I said, it's what we had about a 9-car battle earlier is now just dropped away. The top 4 have bolted. We had a few in the pits, and that will hopefully slot all back into this train once the top 4 competitors come into the pits too. But I still predict we can have a top 10 race to the flag here, and it's going to be maybe 3-4 seconds between them all. At the moment, the field spread, the top 10's 8.5, but mate, the top 4 here within a second of each other, still all tucked in the toe. Should talk quickly about the Group B drivers too. Billy Martindale, there he is, currently leading the MX5s ahead of Jesse, who's had some good results. And Greg, you got yourself up into P3 now, and you've got a big nasty 86 on your tail.
Oh, I tell you, it's scary when you they've got the raw speed, which makes it really awkward because you're just not sure whether you should concede or just let them have it.
Well commentated, whilst showing us an exact, or you're showing us an exact example of that there. The MX-5 seems really nimble through the corner though compared to that big 86.
Yeah, there's some corners that the 86 are quicker on, but the Mazda seems to pull up a little bit better.
I think you've done so well too, and we've talked about this in a couple of races, to match these cars up. Like, no one really thought that when they first released the 86 that you could still run the 2 cars together, and it's not a huge difference. Like, it's not a noticeable difference like we've seen in some other, you know, when I've seen TCR cars run with supercars, it's, you know, light and day, whereas these two, pretty comparable.
It's funny you should say that. At this very track, the fast boys that run comparisons, there's only about a 10th difference in an overall lap time between an 86 and a MX-5.
Yeah, incredible. Incredibly close.
I mean, obviously, you know, a lot of the quicker boys are in the Toyota in this league, but I'd love to see one of them jump in a Mazda one night and see
what they can do.
Damage they can do.
Yeah. Surprising at the front, just watching Cash's now. Obviously, I think you find Hobson's gone in the pits too, has he? Yeah, he has. So Hobson's ducked in, so is Jack Boyd. They're still together, those two. So even when their pit stops are done, they're running a couple of seconds apart. Lee Harrison's back in effectively P3 now. So I'll be interested to see Ryan Casher, who was leading and pulling out a 7/10 of a second gap prior to the pit stops. Can he hang on here? The gap back to Boyd, 49.7 seconds. And it's, my guess is as good as yours to try and work out exactly how much time they're going to lose in this pit lane.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they all play out. I think a smoky for this race might be young Dylan Canto, mate, to be honest, hanging in the toe of Ryan Casher, staying with him quite consistently. So if he can keep that up and peel out of the pits, he might be a smoky for a race win here.
He's been aggressive too at the start, like he's taking no prisoners. You can tell he's making his intentions clear that he wants to get to the front and win this race. And he's right on the tail of, like you said, right with Casher. He has not let up at all. Surely they're going to dive to the pits, and that might hurt him a little bit as they do come in together and into the pit lane. Casher gave it everything. Now they got to get on the brakes and make sure they get down to that pit limit. Aaron Oliver will come in as well, so the rest of the field will start to filter in. Jesse Carriage has also once again bubbled to the top of this race as the top MX-5, but yet to stop.
Yeah, I think he's still got a pit.
Does, yep. So the fastest, well, Greg, you've still got a pit as well. So does Scott Baker. The top MX-5 that has stopped is this man, Tyson Gordon, the Taps NT Racing, back in 19th, 4th outright, but that'll all change shortly. I presume you're in this lap, Greg?
Yeah, we've just been given the message that we're not going to get another lap out of it.
There you go. And here goes Jack Boyd to come down the Grand Prix pit straight, and see what's going to happen here on the pit stop. So Kasha, there he is, just rolling. Now is he on his way into the box or out? I think he's just rolling into the box now. He's got that spot down towards the safety car. And where's Boyd? Just coming through that final corner to head down the endurance pit lane now towards this fantastic sequence of corners. And he goes through. Canto is coming out ahead of Ryan Kasha. So look at this side by side. It's Canto and Kasha, and someone's going to have to yield here. It's going to be Dylan Canto who yields. And look on your right of screen, there goes Jack Boyd. So from a little bit of a lull there for a lap, Hobson goes up into P2, and it's Boyd, Hobson, Harrison, Canto and Kasha. Your top 5 battle for the lead of this race. Wow.
That could have been very messy coming out of the pits there.
You saw the 2Y. That was interesting. Yep. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad common sense prevailed there, and I think it was Ryan yielded out of that one. So, what have they got here? Hobson, like I said, he's just been hanging back there. We'll have a quick look at the pit stop times just to give anyone who's interested an indication of how long each car stopped for. I know there's a few techies out there that like these sort of stats. So there's your stoppage time. So 8.3 for Boyd. Took on some fuel there, and so did Canto. Like you said, Canto, a bit of a dark horse here. Dylan took on the most out of the top 4. 9.2 stationary. 7.4 for Hobson. The fuel-saving legend is going to have a crack here and try and do it. But like I said, he was sitting basically 5th out of the top 5 for that first 15 minutes of the race. He's probably saved enough to definitely warrant taking such a short fuel. Yeah, 100%. And now sitting in that tow, I think it's justified. So it'll be a case of what I was saying earlier, where just leave it for the last lap or two and make your move then.
Yep. Yeah, looking good. A bit further back and still inside the top 10. Look at this battle. Wayne Losh behind Damien Seeger. Jared Hughes is into 8th now. So how's that? 27 spots into the top 8. And a bit of bump drafting going on there as well as Losh in, gee, they're nice looking cars. These guys for WBT Racing have turned out 2 magnificent looking race cars, and they're behind Hughes. And who's that then? Glenn Boyd back in 11th. So Loshy running at the 10 as Mel. There's another pass on Hughes up into 7th now. What is this guy? What's he on tonight? He's been drinking Avgas?
He's just got back from the States, so he's obviously picked up a bit of racecraft over in the States, Luke.
You know what? He's made every move clean tonight too. He's made 28 of them because he's up 28 positions now into the top 7. But he's not mucking around at all. And obviously, well, if he was smart, he would probably leave it there and finish 7th, and that will put him P2 for the final race, yeah?
Yeah.
If he keeps going forward, he's just actually now reducing where he starts on the grid for race 2. Obviously, inverted top 8 for race 2 always makes a hell of an exciting start. But yeah, wow, this is good racing. Here's your battle at the front again between Boyd, Hobson, Harrison, Canto, and Kasha. Big gap then back to Moz. I don't think he'll be able to reconnect with this battle pack at the front, sadly. Nick Nankara says, I'm having a shocker. He is. He's down in 36th place, but he's made up 1 position over Cameron Edwards.
I'm testing a theory out here, Luke.
Yep.
I might have short filled on my stop, but I've got a really good tow.
You got Scott Baker in for Southern Cross Racing in front of you. And
Yeah.
gee whiz, you looked a bit loose through there, Greg. Carrying some speed.
I might have been having a cup of coffee there, Dutchy.
Oh, I was about to say, well, hopefully you found the pit lane quite good this time.
Yes, no, we had no problems tonight, thank you. This is the problem, Luke, when you make a mistake. They never let you live it down.
That's it. Hey, we'll go back to the front because this is heating up now. Boyd has just got himself a nice little gap at the moment. It's just up to 7/10, but check out behind. That was Lee Harrison really putting the work on the back bumper of Brenton Hobson, and now Canto's in a good position. In fact, Kasha let's jump on board with him and watch his perspective as they run down this, well, I call it a back straight, but it's always curving. You've got to keep that throttle pedal pinned and try and find a way through. He's all over the back here. You don't want to put a wheel out on the grass. You'll take a one-way ticket to the fence, and he just taps the back there of Dylan Canto. And you can see the way Dylan Canto's car is moving around as now Casher sends it down the outside. Surely he can't go around the outside of a couple of competitors. He does. He then sends it to the inside of Harrison and says, thank you very much. I'll have a 2-for-1 deal, but Harrison will come back at him now. He gets better drive off the turn and should be able to maintain that P3 under brakes, but Casher now, oh, there's contact between them. So that's getting a little bit, what's the word? A little bit risky, taking each other out there. So we should get 2 more laps, judging by the time here. So we'll be around 28.5 minutes as we start the last lap, and Casher once again jumps right onto the back of Harrison to push him along. This is Billy Martindale, 3rd in class at the moment. So Tyson Gordon still leads the MX5s ahead of Jesse and Billy. Johnny Thorne tonight. John's having a pretty good race, up 4 spots, makes it 5 now as he goes through. There's a spinner in the background, and John Thorne now takes P4 in class and up 5 into 18th outright. So good drive for another good looking car. This is plenty of detail. If you zoom in on this car, check out all the detail, all the cogs and the grey on the white there. That absolutely looks cool. And how are you travelling, Andrew? How's not being able to race, mate, at the moment?
It's painful sitting here watching it, mate, to be honest. But yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It's nice having a break away from the sim, but yeah, I can't wait to get back on, mate. I've probably got another month and a half, 2 months of rehab and recovery from my elbow. So yeah, make sure it's 100% before I come back.
Yep. Yeah, it's mate, sitting out and just getting the itch. Can't race one-handed.
No, mate, no. Unfortunately not. So the best I can do is just sit here and watch races, you know, come in, stay involved in the league, you know, jump on the broadcast with you and just sit here and push my pedals in and out.
Yeah, that's it. No, it's good to have you, man. And we're watching this battle still hot at the front. Hobson, P2, has just closed the margin back up to Boyd. It was out to nearly 8/10 for a minute there. Now he's said that's enough of that. Don't need to get too far away. Cash is still looking aggressive back of Lee Harrison. Are you hearing any chat through Discord or through other sources, or any drivers that are not appreciating these little bit of bump drafting? Because you can get a fair bit out of these cars, but you'll also get yourself a 4X if you hit someone too hard in the back.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's been no complaints lodged, you know, via our stewards page. So I think.
Oh, spinner at the front. Harrison's gone around. How did everyone avoid that? Wow. So he just looped it, coming back onto the pit straight, and has gone way backwards. So it's now a 3-horse race at the front with Dylan Canto. It's still probably, you would think, part of it, but let's have a quick look at that. Harrison got on the gas. Now it was Hobson going through as well. So just watch this. Hobson goes through, and in front of them, he just got a big old spin on. And how good with the reaction there was Ryan Casher. Somehow avoided that. Let's just go on board with Casher and have a look at this reaction, because he was almost first on the scene of the accident. Watch this. He gets sideways himself, and then he has to go, right, I'll go to the right. If he had to go on the left, would have been Kurt. So great driving there by Ryan.
Yeah, that would have been a tough one, because as you said, he was getting sideways himself. He was trying to correct his car, and then to react to missing the car in front. You know, that's some really good driving there. Well,
he had presence of mind to go to the right. A lot of people would probably go to the left, thinking you'll avoid the guy that's spinning from the right. But he had, you know, he definitely went the right way there. That was, like I say, split-second thought, and he took the right one.
Yeah, I think we've all made that mistake once in our sim racing careers, where you make that split-second decision and go the wrong way.
A million times in NASCAR, particularly. I was like a magnet when I used to love doing NASCAR and iRacing years ago. And man, with those big spins with 10 laps to go, I was always a magnet for that car that's just, you know, floating in front of you across the track. And it's like, oh, he won't hit me, and then you just go straight into him.
And that's one of the reasons why I stay away from that type of racing.
Yeah. So we hit the 30-minute mark, and we are on the last lap of this race. So at the front, it is on. There's no nothing being held back now. Boyd leads, Cash is second, Hobson in third, and I'm just wondering if Boyd can hang on here. He's going to get, well, you know, Cash is not going to sit back and take P2 here. He's going to have a lunge, and I reckon Hobbo may think about just picking up the pieces here. We'll jump on board with Brenton as he now gets right up behind Boyd, and look at Casher still just pushing his way through, but Hobson's going to help Boyd here and give him a bit of a push. They go side by side, they almost make contact. Now they make contact again. Hobson's got to be careful he doesn't get wiped out here into the braking zone. It's going to be Boyd just in front. Casher goes to the wide line. He's going to try a switch back here, so this is Boyd in front. Needs to block the apex here on the exit, and he does well. And wow, look how close Casher is. Gives him a bit of a bump. Hobson dropped backwards, unfortunately, and the checker flag drops, and it's a win to Boyd by 9. Oh, crash in the background for the WBT cars as well. But 9/100ths of a second between Boyd and Casher. How good is that? What a finish! As we wait for Tyson Gordon to come around too. He's leading that Group B charge, and not a lot of competition right behind him. It's a 2.8 second gap back, and I tell you what, is this 2 in a row for Tyson? He won last week as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he won the last race last week. He's on a bit of a roll.
He is on a roll. So there you go. Takes the checker flag and puts your hands together for Mr. Gordon. Another one. So there's Jack Boyd, who wins Class 8. Tyson Gordon takes out Class B ahead of Jesse, and Billy coming home P3. I just want to also point out Jared Hughes, 30 spots he made up to get himself into the top 5 there. So what a mega drive. 30.
Look at the finish here, Luke.
So it's looks like the precision driving team as they all cross the line together.
Oh, that was unreal.
Nothing
I
else.
don't know who came together on the last corner, but it was like standing start, like a sprint race.
Good to watch. So, man, we'll take a couple of seconds here. We might get a few drivers in for a chat too and talk about race 1. We've got another race coming up in 10 minutes, so I'll get the iRacing results up on the screen as well shortly once they're made available. But don't go now. Take a couple of minute break while we get these results made available for us. In for a quick chat now as we see those scores up on the field. And I'll quickly flick through to the bottom places as well. So you can see all your favourite drivers right down the order. We got Damien Seeger hanging by in the green room, so we'll bring him in for a chat. Damien, how are you, man? And how was your first race of the evening tonight?
Hey Luke, Dutchy, how you going?
Good.
Look, it was running well until the last lap there where I had a little bit of a tangle. I think I just put a little bit too much gas down and I slid, and unfortunately I hit my teammate who was on 0x.
Oh no.
So he's not happy with me at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think we might have just caught the back of that. Was on the last corner, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was through the bus stop, yeah.
Yeah, we just saw it in the background. So obviously the X's in this series play a big part of the overall points tally, don't they?
Yeah, they do, absolutely. We've only got 15 for this race, and this track's pretty technical when it comes to the inks. It doesn't take much to get one, so it'll be interesting to see all the inks that all the drivers have got tonight.
Yeah, and how soon after the race do those things, or how soon after the race are they, are you able to see how many points you've got against you?
You can see at the end of the race it's all tallied up once you go to the results there, and you can actually see everybody's inks at the end of the race yet. But myself and the guys will take a look at it maybe tomorrow night or Wednesday night as well, and sort of add them all up. Obviously, once you go above 5 inks, it starts contributing towards your championship points, so you don't want that.
Yeah, for sure. And we're around 5 now, so we're already sweeping our way in. It's I think a 9-round championship, so already around 5.
It's flying. It's but you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun.
When you're having fun, yeah. And we got, you'll be behind this inverted top 8 in race 2. Just your plan, I guess, is just to try and keep with them. It would be the main objective, yeah?
Yeah, so I took 12 litres of fuel, but my guess is the sweet spot on tipping is probably about 8 litres. So I'm going to aim for 8 litres of fuel in the pit stop. And if I sit pretty behind the likes of Wayne Losh and Mosmeroz there and save a little bit, hopefully I can jump into the pit stop.
Yeah, it's and just try not to make contact with your teammate.
I've got to go see if he still likes me. I don't think he does.
It'd be nice if we had, I wish we had a direct audio into the team chat for those sorts of moments.
Yeah, you've got the beat button as well, right?
I do. It's always to go.
There you go.
Yeah, no, very good, mate. And we'll grab Hobbo in while he's got a minute. And it is good to have him back this week after a week of absence where he just didn't turn up and just ignored us all and didn't want to be friends anymore. But here he is, Brenton Hobson. Hello, mate.
G'day, what's going on?
I made all that up, by the way. I hope you still wanted to be friends.
Always.
Mate, a big track this one. Obviously, you would have done 1 million miles around this place. It's, a well-known F1 circuit. It's a classic of motor racing. What's your thoughts of it in the 86 car?
It's pretty good, actually. The high draft track, like a lot of the ones we go to, but it seems to work well. It puts on good racing, as we know, so any of these sort of fast tracks. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. We did run here. I think we ran here in this car, might have been one of the pre-season races or something that we did. So we even got experience here in this car before. So that's a bit different to usual for me, but no, it's been good fun so far.
And obviously a huge train of cars. I think there was up to 9 cars in that first race following each other, but then it sort of broke down a bit and you're in the thick of things towards the end of the race. Mate, I saw you looking to the inside there before the bus stop, but there was just no room.
Yeah, I wasn't really going to go for a pass down there and make it 3 wide and, kill everybody, but that was more just about trying to defend the spot for third, really. Once we got around up to that back part of the track there on the last lap, there really was no hope for me to win it unless they crashed into each other. So, yeah, it's just trying to position myself as best I could in case something happened, but yeah, unfortunately just didn't put myself in the right spot in that one, but we'll try and do a bit better here in race number 2.
Yeah, well, the car looks good, mate. You haven't got Jared here tonight, so just the black out there, no black and white tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Jared is, actually. I haven't spoken to him, but I barely made it myself. Only just got here right at the end of practice. So lucky that we've got any cars here, to be honest. But like you said, we've driven around here plenty of times before, so didn't really need too many laps tonight to get up to speed, thankfully.
And once again, mate, your fuel stoppage time was shorter than everyone by, around a second. Is that just, once again, you're just running that right on the limit of how much fuel you can put in the car?
Well, after the checkered flag there, I managed to drive all the way up past the end of the Camel Straight and around to the top side of the track before I ran out of fuel. So it wasn't that close, but yeah, it's just, if you're not leading, you've got the opportunity to try and save a little bit and try and make an advantage in the pit stop if you can, even if it is only 1 or 2 seconds when you've got a handful of cars all separated by nothing. It make all the difference. So a bit shorter stop time by saving a little bit of fuel, and yeah, it's just one of the strategies you can sort of play.
And if you're in a draft and you're the 5th car, for example, back in the draft, is that even better for fuel saving rather than just being one behind the leader?
I don't know that it matters so much where you are, as long as you're not leading. But I was at the back of the 5-car group for all the way up until the pit cycle started, and what I found was useful to me was that I didn't have anyone right behind me, so you can get out of it real early. You don't have to be worrying about someone trying to pass you or throwing it down the inside or something like that. So you can be a little bit more greedy with what you save on corner entries, knowing that as soon as you get to a straight, you'll start to bridge the gap back up. So that probably helped me a little bit there, but that's a luxury that you don't always have.
Yeah. Well, good luck in race 2. Coming up shortly, we've got an inverted top 8, and we'll head it up for another 30 minutes around here, and it was tight at the end. Like we knew it was going to come down to the last couple of corners, and we saw just that. I think Cash will have a point to prove in the next race. We'll see what he can do, but just once again to go over those results from race 1. For those that just missed it and are just tuning in, Jack Boyd will start P8, and it's actually Lee Harrison who's shown good speed all night. He will start from pole position. Now Lee, he's been quick. Hobbo and Damien as well. You just raced against him. From P1, he might get a clear start. Can he get away? Because it was that unfortunate error where he just looped the car. Otherwise, he may have got the win as it was.
He put in a cracker of a lap in qualifying to put it on the front. So yeah, don't bet against him at your own peril. But if he gets lucky here on the start and a couple of people sort of bottle up behind him and he can break the draft, then yeah, maybe he might be quick enough that he can stay out there. I guess that's the dream in this series. It's pretty hard to do, but I actually forgot all about the invert, so thanks for that. But you're right. There's a bit of a shake-up at the front, and he's certainly probably one of, if not the quickest car here, really, for 1 lap pace by himself in clean air. So yeah, there's every chance off the front that he might be able to make a bit of a gap and drive away. We'll see what happens. Yeah,
we'll know very soon because we're only about a minute and a half away. And Greg, mega first race. The guy on screen right now I want to quickly talk about, Tyson Gordon. He won one last week. He won again tonight. He's a man on a mission. How's he going in the series points?
I think his first couple of rounds, he sort of didn't feature that strongly, but there's certainly enough rounds left for him to climb the ladder. I mean, Anthony Connors is not in tonight, so that'll be his 2nd round. So I think Tyson will start to leapfrog a few. He'll certainly, if he keeps this up, he'll be at the top in no time.
I think it was Bianca that told us last week he has been putting the practice in, and it just shows, doesn't it? Like you put extra time in, you do more work on each track, and here you go, you start winning races.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting next week. We're at Magny-Cours, and I don't know how many boys have turned a whole heap of laps at that track, so that'll sort everybody out.
Well, get ready for race 2. We're only 25 seconds away, so good luck. Damien, thanks for coming for a chat. Good luck, Hobbo, as well. And Greg, mate, get out there and see how you go. Cheers. And Bianca does say, well done, Gordy. So Gordy taking a win and consistent racing, she says. So yeah, it's good to see how well he's doing. But let's head down now and we'll check out the grid for our 2nd and final race for the night. Here it is. So starting from pole position will be Lee Harrison. Like I said, gifted the pole with the reverse top 8. So Harrison for Pro Karts Race Centre starts off the front row with Moz next to him. You've got Neville and Jared, who is super quick starting from P4. Watch him trying to sneak to the front. Dylan Cantor off that 3rd row with Brenton Hobson starting out of 6 Casher and Boyd, your top 8. Wayne Losh and Damien Seeger to be banging doors again from the top 10. We'll see shortly as Cody Harrison will tune in and line up from 11th on the grid. Aaron Oliver alongside him. The next page, as they quickly grid up for us, is Fenson starting from 13th. Tyson Gordon, the top MX5, starts from 14th. Jesse behind him, Billy Martindale as well. Then you got Glenn Boyd way out of position back in 17th place. 18th is Harrison with Cuthbertson and Holmes. Then you got Scotty Baker down in 21st. John Thorne starts from 22nd. Reese Bolitho down in 23rd, and Hodgett's your top 24. 25th on the grid is Paradiso, Google, Rodkin, Maguire down in 28th. Linus and Kennedy to round out your top 30. Let's get set to go racing, folks, for this race number 2 of the evening. And we get a nice clean start at the front. Bit of wheel spin there from Moz, put him sideways, but then he got a secondary good bite there, and here goes Canto once again as they roll down the hill. Check out this field of cars, smoke clearing in the background. It's Moz out in front. In behind you've got Losh applying some pressure. Is he? No, he's... Oh, I heard a spinner. I heard a spinner in the background. There's a big incident. Wow, huge crash there. It's 3 or 4 cars involved. We've got a car on its roof as well. It's well, they've just gone back to the pits, but that's Dave Gogol. That is one second-hand looking Mazda MX-5, and it's all gone wrong in the Mazda portion of the start there. And Greg, what's the take, mate, on that one?
I have no idea, Luke. That was pretty hairy. I thought we were clear, but I don't know whether we managed to get a tap or what happened. But yeah, we sort of found ourselves going sideways at a great rate of knots.
Yeah, Keith Logan got caught up in that too. I want to have a look at Dave's contact, because his car looks like it's done 16 rounds of the fender bender. So someone got sideways in front of him. Will jump on board. Oh, it was like pinballs. And then huge incident through the smoke. Wouldn't have even seen that coming. And man, there would be 8 or 9 Mazdas, unfortunately, all tied up in that event. And I want to see if it was Philip or Nankara who went around first. So this is a little bit more towards the front. Let's see if we can... Oh, there it was. It was like synchronized spinning, those two, and that created the drama. So wow, huge crash there for Phil. And that's taken a heck of a lot of cars with them back to live. And yeah, not the ideal start for our poor little MX-5s. We just lost half the field.
Oh, yeah, I'm just looking at the pinball effect then. Wow.
Yeah, huge crash. So this time, the Larry Racing Graham Ellis is in 21st spot. He makes up a few positions off the start. Got the concentration face on as he chases after a couple of competitors in front of him, Matty T and Bard Rodkin. As Matty T's up 11 already, trying to make up for what happened to him in race 1. But Moz at the front has got an angry little pack behind him. Lee Harrison, Casher and Hobson trade places. In behind them we've got Canto and Mel. Jack Boyd a little bit further back at the start of this race as Moz holds his own. That's where we saw the spin by Harrison in race 1. He's probably just going to make sure he goes 98% throttle this race rather than stamp on it and go around again, as we see new fastest lap there, 135 tick up, and Casher dives towards the inside. Hold your breath. Hobson as well, pinched to the inside. Canto on the outside behind them. Mel and Boyd needs to get a wriggle on. He's dropped back slightly there, but now he's reattached to Mel, and he'll go wheel to wheel down the hill and hopefully come out the other side of this. You always hold your breath. El Rouge, one of the fastest corners, and mate, it's incredible in any car. I mean, even in these slower cars, I love watching an F1 go through there, or an LMP2 or an LMP car go through there, but even watching these 86s go through there, it's always a spectacle.
It is.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best corners in the world, to be honest, besides Conrod Straight.
Yep. As oh man, in the background they're 4 wide again, and you know what, the WBT cars almost made contact again, and Losh is ahead of Cody Harrison. Damien Siegel will be like, okay, I better not bang into him for a second time. That might be a little bit costly in the friendship department. But Cody Harrison having a good run here, up in 9th, up 2 spots. And then Seeger, Oliver's behind him. Henry Fenson's up 1 into 12th. Jesse leading the MX-5 class at the moment, just in the back of your shot there. There is the 777 leading Billy Martindale. And what happened to Tyson Gordon in this one? He's dropped 4 positions down to 18th outright and 5th in class. So not the best start for him for race 2. Big thanks, while we got a second, to all the sponsors too. You can see the top right hand of the screen. A lot of the time you take it for granted, don't you? But how good is it to have these guys on board supporting this series? And it is very cool. So make sure you keep an eye on those sponsor boards and thank those sponsors if you can for their input to the series. Back at the front, let's have a look at Harrison, I just saw it flashing up on my monitor that Ryan Cashin may have been giving him a bit of Morse code here on the rear bar. You don't want to damage this beautiful paint job, but he's, once again, look at that, he's attached. He's glued himself to the back of that 86, and the top 7 drivers now, 1.3 seconds. You can throw a blanket over it. Casher is about to push him, and then I think push him out of the way shortly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a move up the inside here.
Here he goes.
Yep.
Picked it, but how late on the brakes was Lee Harrison, though?
Yeah, talk about going
Wow.
deep.
Yeah, and he stopped it, though. There wasn't a snatch of a brake. There was nothing. I mean, he's getting the tune up there. You can see from Casher, from the rear shot. He's right on the bumper bar. In fact, in iRacing, it shows us inside the car. That's how close he is. But that's surprising to me, as Ryan Casher does a new fastest lap of the race. But how late? I mean, Lee's left it to the last second to jump on the brakes. In fact, it's the old, who's going to brake first? You brake first. No, I'll brake later. And he did that and held position. So good racing.
Yeah, that's some very good racing there, and it's clean as well, which makes it even better.
Here we go, down through the Big Dipper and up the hill where we saw the MX-5s crash at the start of the race. And look how quickly Casher, once you get a bit of straight line speed here, he closes right up, attaches himself to the back. The DC racing cars now, 3rd and 4th, looking a pretty picture there with the green and black and white. And here they go. They may sneak past this Geo in front, and shortly we might have a Moz and a Dylan, P1 and 2, but not yet. They're going to stay in this fight and be watchful. Where is Brenton Hobson? Back in P5. So Hobbo, once again, where he was in race 1, he's got Jack Boyd behind him. That's a good place to keep Jack Boyd, as Cash uses all the exit curb and more. And then behind Boyd, you've got Neville, Mel and Wayne Losh still running at your top 8. Big movers and shakers in this race. Matty T now up 14 spots and Graham Ellis up 15. Obviously, Graham had that incident in race 1, found himself out of the race. Now he's got himself on the hunt and back up into 19th place. So great driving. And while I'm here and I've got the screen open, we should give another shout out to Darren Linus, who's up 7 spots into 22nd now. We'll jump on board with him shortly. And there you go, we've got a camera set up for him tonight. And relaxed and enjoying his racing here, and trying to tune up the back of Ant Cuthbertson, who's just on 7/10 up the road. He's just got to try and keep the concentration levels high here. He's got I think it's a Fanatec F1 wheel in his hands and driving very nicely.
Yeah, he looks very cool, calm and collected there. Does Darren?
He does, doesn't he? Like, he's just not even blinking, just relaxed.
Not even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, no facial expressions like you see sometimes, but oh, he's got a bit of torque in that wheel there. You can see him having to work pretty hard, and he's just loving it. You'll be watching this battle in front. You can see them giving each other a bit of a tune up. It's Tyson Gordon, in fact, up the road, and Ray Harrison, is it? No, sorry, and Cuthbertson now side by side, and I think. So Tyson's got the damage. That's what's holding him up. So that may have been from that incident at the start, and that will kill his straight line speed, won't it? That panel damage.
Yeah, 100%. And on a track like this, where it's pretty much 60-70% straight or thereabouts, you're going to drop back pretty quickly.
Now, can he stop this and get a fast repair? Will he think about doing that? Here he goes in the pits.
Yeah, I think he'll have to take that fast repair. It's that damage is costing him way too much time.
And for those that don't know, a fast repair just means you get to check the box once in a race like this, and you get your car fixed for nothing. And I wish you could do that in the real world. It would save a lot of dollars.
It certainly would.
Look at this battle at the front.
Jared Hughes has dropped off the timing there. I thought he was up in the top 10.
He was right up there, so he's fallen down the order.
I think he's actually pitted.
I'm not sure. I think he's out of it because he's now dropped down to 36 and he's stationary in the pit, so he's gone, I think, as we've got a spin at the front.
Contact.
Oh, a couple of cars around. Moz and Hobbo interlocked here. We'll have a look at the replay of this one and see what has gone on between the two of them. Here's your replay coming up now. So Hobson was having a look to the inside and got up right up on the curb there, didn't he? And then, oh, he's going to lose the back end, and a big tank slapper there for the 767 of Moz. Hobson had nowhere to go, and unfortunately, that's a one-way ticket to the scrapyard. We'll watch that from on board Hobbo's car, I think, because this will tell the story. So just watch this. In front, Moz gets up on the curb there. The car goes one way, then snaps back the other way and hard into the fence there. Hobson couldn't do anything about that, sadly, and that's going to really hurt his race because front end damage, like we spoke about before, aero around a track like this, it's curtains.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, mate. And that's one of those unfortunate racing incidents where, you know, you just can't do anything.
We watch Lee Harrison. Now, I said at the start, he could get a win here. He was so good in race one, qualified well, ran really well, and then, oh man, I tell you what, once again, Ryan doesn't hold back on the bump draft, does he? Just nails him in the back bumper bar and pushes him forward as Canto now attaches as well. But yeah, look, if Harrison can drive this sensibly, if he can block in the right places, you know, and that doesn't mean just park the car on the in the braking zone. Sometimes you got to park the car at the apex too on the second part of a chicane like that, and they use it perfectly in MotoGP all the time. You know, a block pass or they just slow up the car behind. I don't think it's used often enough in this sort of racing. You got to have a bit of faith in the other cars that not just going to wipe you out if you do it, but it is a technically good manoeuvre to try and keep someone behind you who's getting the advantage of all this aero, as Ryan Casher and Dylan Canto are.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think the biggest thing with that now is I've noticed Jack Boyd and Neville Mell and Loshy, they're starting to get closer to this front pack now. So with that, what you were just explaining with that driving style, you know, it's bringing the other three into it.
Yeah, Casher is just ruthless. I would love to hear what's being said here. I mean, you got to think maybe Lee isn't appreciating this, or maybe he's thinking it's helping him pull away, but it's constant battering of the back bumper bar, and here comes Canto and Boyd as well. Boyd down the inside, all checked up as he wiggled his way to an apex, and he got it pulled up. In the end, goes into P3 up 5 spots. So Boyd in, there's a flash of the headlights there from Dylan Canto. I don't think he appreciated that one as a big send, but he made it work.
Yeah, no, it was clean. It was respectful, so he got the job done.
Good racing, and well, we're going to get a close finish again. You can just sense it. We've got Neville Mell up there as well. He's driven well. Obviously, the invert top 8 helped him get a good start position, but wow, he's now P5 and right on the back of Loshy. So yeah, decent job.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see again this race with the pits, who comes in first, who blinks, and whether everyone else follows. Personally, I'd wait until the lead car pitted and then follow him in. So it'll be interesting to see what strategies are running.
And not too far off the lead of the race too is this car, Jesse, a Lockmec racing car, back in 9th outright, first in class, ahead of Billy Martindale and Graham Ellis, who's up 23 spots now. What a pearler of a second race for Graham, considering what happened in the first one. He hasn't given up, which a lot of the time people do just give up.
Yeah, if someone deserves it, it's this bloke here, mate. You know, week in, week out, he's racing, and you know, he's been in the league for a very long time, since day one, I think. So if anyone deserves a podium finish, it is Graham. Yeah,
and someone who's not having the best of nights, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but Glenn Boyd, back in 19th place, he's just dropped another couple of positions. Got Matty T in front of him, who's up 13 spots, but he's just sitting a fair way back, as now we see Boyd and Losh in the pits. So a couple of the top runners are starting to come in now and get their pit stop out of the way.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too far, and these front guys will come in.
So Ryan Casher leads now. Harrison says, right, I've had enough of your pepper in my bumper bar. Now you have a crack. And let's see how we go. So Casher, Harrison, Mel and Canto. And Neville started P3 with the inverted 8. Runs P3, be happy with that. We haven't seen him, I don't think, grace the podium yet.
Yeah, it's good to see. It looks like he's stopped blinking as well.
Yeah. That's always...
Young Canto putting a bit of pressure on him here.
Yeah, look at Harrison too. Returning serve on Ryan Casher. He said, I can give it back just as much as you gave it to me. And it's good to watch. I love it. And Glenn Boyd now as well has a look to the inside on Matty T. Late on the brakes. Can he stop that? He can. Gets it turned in. They look pretty good when they do slow down and turn. The change of direction in these 86 cars looks pretty good.
Yeah, it is good unless you hit a curb. You know, a lot of high curbs, these get really unsettled, or I've noticed they do. So that's why I personally preferred the MX-5. They're a bit more settled over the curbs. So, but they're a fun car to race, these 86s.
Yeah, yep. But I think we see more sideways action out of the 86. And I wonder if that Moz incident too is just an indication of how hard it is when they do snap away to get it corrected and back without doing the overcorrection and punting off the track is a bit harder in the 86 maybe.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been shown tonight with Harrison in the first race and the few in this one.
Beyond halfway distance as well, and Ryan Casher 2/10 out in front, nothing in it. The top four with Canto at the back of this four, running along nicely. Let's have a quick look once again, and not too far back. Like I said, this track in particular is keeping the MX-5s well within range of it's only 7.2 seconds from the top 86 back to the top MX-5, which is incredibly close.
Yeah, Jesse's done a good job here to get up to P1, so got Billy behind him and Ant now.
Yeah, and Cuthbertson up 10 spots into 9th outright and 3rd in class.
Yeah, what's happened to Graham? Hopefully I haven't done the old commentator's curse.
I think he stopped for fuel, so he's back just coming out of the pits now. Graham Ellis still up 13 spots in 21st as Harrison and Mel come into the pits. But yeah, I think he's just having his stop now. So a bit of a gap at the front after those pit stops. You got Casher and Canto separated by 2.1 seconds. Probably the biggest gap we've seen in any this racing tonight. This is this lull that you get at the midway point of a Roadster Rumble race. It's like a calm before the storm. You're in the eye of the needle. I think that's probably the best description of a Roadster Rumble race. You got it's a tornado, and you've got this crazy start. Then you've got this eye of the needle at the midpoint when people are having pit stops, and it's a bit offset. And then you get thrown back through the other side of the tornado for the last 10 minutes or so. And it's once again anyone's. You got to feel for Hobson because he's probably dropped back so far now that he won't be able to engage for the battle at the end unless he can do some wizardry in the pit stop. And I think the fact that the spin made him sit there for so long, if it was a quick spin and he got straight back onto the gas and out of there, it would have only been 2-3 seconds of lost time. But he had to sit there and wait for probably a good 5 seconds, which is probably just throwing the race out the window. So we'll keep an eye on him. In fact, you can just see in the background there, there's Moz, who had the incident with him a fair way back. So if nothing else, Hobson's been able to make up a little bit of time, possibly mostly through the pit stop phase. So Ryan leads here, 18 minutes gone. The top 3 drivers on your timing screen there have yet to come in for a stop. If you're wondering why it's all spread out, then you can see Lee Harrison is our top driver of the drivers that has stopped. He's got a healthy 2-second lead over Neville, Mel and Wayne Losh. It's going to be so touch and go. I think it was around 49 seconds the gap last race and it was touch and go. So this might mean Lee Harrison will keep the lead at the end of this lap when the top 3 do decide to come in. Further back in the field too, let's check in with our series organiser back in 27th place. What's going on back there, Greg?
Just having a casual, leisurely run around Spa at the moment.
Miss Daisy in the back seat.
Yep, they were taking the poodles out for a run to the beach.
You got Steve Kennedy behind you. He's not really going to bother you. He's 13 seconds back. You've just got Ray Harrison up the road then. 5 seconds. It could be a lonely 10 minutes for you here, mate.
It could be. I got to within about 3.5 seconds of Ray, but using a bit too much fuel.
But tell us, this sort of situation is important for drivers too, because, some people go, I'm not racing anyone, this is going to be a bit boring. But obviously to keep yourself sharp, you can race against your relative, you can there's still things you can do to have fun. You can watch your sector times and try and beat them.
Yeah, and for me, it's a perfect opportunity to not get any incidents.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. No one around to bump into you.
Well, not only that, but you can push yourself a little bit more. And if you get it wrong, you've got plenty of track to pull it back up again. Whereas if you're in a battle with somebody, it can get a bit awkward.
Yep. We're just watching Harrison here because this is the interesting part now, where he comes around and well, watch. There's Kasha now rolling down the pit lane. He's yet to stop, remember. So I reckon this is going to be close. I reckon Harrison will have this. So Kasha into the box. He's still got to take fuel on board. Coming down to well, it is turn 1 if you go off the checker flag, but onto the pit straight now. Harrison heads down the hill. He'll be up at full speed as Wayne Losh does a new fastest lap of the race. Kanto gets out first, well before Kasha. I wonder if he's got himself a penalty there. He is still stationary, Kasha. He has not moved, and here goes Kanto. Where is Harrison? There he is at full speed. He should be able to go straight past him, you would think. Here he goes. He's got a much better run. Probably 20 kph in the difference in speed here, and he should be able to go straight past him. There it is. See you later, he says. Beautifully done. Lee Harrison back to the lead of the race. Straight on the headlights is Dylan Kanto. He's got I tell you what, he's got his always finger on the button, I reckon.
It's an interesting combination, those two, because Dylan's dad, Dean Kanto, who most people would know as a supercar driver, him and Lee are actually really good friends, so it'll be an interesting conversation if young Dylan can get up and beat Lee.
Oh, that'd be awesome, as we see Oliver and Mel go wheel to wheel. I've got to say too, Losh, now P3 for WBT, so you know, he has driven beautifully tonight. He's up 6 spots in this feature race and holds that purple lap to a 2:46.3. Put a mega lap time in earlier. So looking good for him at the moment for a podium, as well as the top 3 now stretch away. 3.3 seconds the top 3 covered. And then it's almost a second back to Aaron Oliver, who's had a good race too. Up 8 spots into 4th. So good job. And Matty T, 19 spots for him. Keith Logan, who's been a quiet achiever tonight, back in 23rd. There's Keith, up 12 spots now into 23rd. So good job, Keith.
What's happened to Graham and Damien, Luke? They're both coming up on my relative as being a lap down.
Yeah, I don't know if they've had 2 pit stops, so both those drivers have had 2 stops.
I wonder if it's incidents.
I think it might be, because there's a stack of them, and I've got to wonder too, like Jared Hughes, out of the race early. I wonder what happened to him. Didn't really make a start in this second race. He got not even half a lap in, I think, and who
Even
else?
Jack Boyd sitting down in 10th. He's dropped back a few spots.
Yeah, so we got Glenn Boyd in 10th. Jack Boyd's down in 14th. So
Jack's in 14th.
yeah, so he's also way out of order. And there was a long stop for, if we look at the pit stop times, we'll probably tell the story here, because it was definitely, I saw Kasha, Boyd was 48.5 seconds. So Jack Boyd must have got a speeding in the pit lane penalty, I would presume. So that's 48 seconds, and Kasha 47.5. So both those two, I reckon, got speeding in the pits, and hence why they had to sit there stationary for 40 or so seconds, which has completely thrown their races out the window. Good Damien sitting in the green room, so we'll bring him in for a chat. Damien, talk to us, man. What's going on?
Fair bit going on. I had a little bit of an incident with Aaron, I think, and sort of threw the alignment off in the tyres, and I pitted. But I don't think I had my fast repair ticked, because I come back out and the car was still pretty squirrely.
Well, that's no fun.
No.
P21 though, so 7th in class. Having a pretty good duel here with Curtis. What's your plan, mate? Try and slipstream it, and you can talk us through it. You can commentate. This will be like the great Shane Warne commentating a wicket. What are you going to do here? You're going to just hold it flat around the outside?
Who's that one for, sorry, Lee? I'm in pits, yeah.
Oh, you are too. There you go. I'm looking at the wrong person there. Sorry, Damien, that was some classic Murray Walkerism there. Calling the wrong car.
You were setting me up. I'm sitting there going, geez, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this one, but
Well, that was one of the most exciting bits of commentary I've done. So,
I heard you only got 2 hours sleep, so
mate, yeah,
you're pardoned this time.
I am slurring my words tonight. Some chronic. I haven't been drinking, folks. I'm just mega tired, but I'm here. I'm doing the job, and we get some great pictures as always, even if my commentary is up Shit Creek tonight. So, Lee Harrison out in front, still 3/10 ahead, and so Damien, you got damage. Are you out of it? Are you? That's sad to see.
Yeah, I've just the car's in the repair. I'll jump back in once the minute's over, and I'll go for a bit of a ride. But I thought I'd just jump in here and help Greg out and let him concentrate on his driving a bit, and I'll take over for him.
But how about your teammate, mate? He's having a ripper tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, Loshy's doing really well. He's a pretty skillful driver, Loshy, when he wants to be, and hopefully he does pretty well tonight, and at least one of us in the team will get some points.
P5, up 4 spots. He's all over the back of Neville. I think he's trying to line him up. We've only got 2 or so laps to go in the race, so yeah. He's not far off a podium. It's only if you can get past Neville. He's got Aaron Oliver next up the road. The 2 at the front are definitely going to have a scrap. You can tell. Harrison has been quick all night. Probably deserved a win in race 1 if you hadn't have thrown it in the weeds.
Yeah.
Dylan Cantor, he's been looking aggressive since the flag dropped for race 1, so he's definitely going to have a shot, isn't he?
Absolutely impressed with Dylan. He's doing a fantastic job, and it's great to see him up there in P2. But Lee will be loving that, battling with Dylan. I think that one's been coming for a while.
Yeah. And look at Moz too, back there with Glenn Boyd in front. Glenn in front of Jack, and like I said, if you just joined us, Jack and the car in front, Ryan Casher, both big pit stops tonight, which by all indications seem that they might have got a speeding in the pit lane penalty. And it's one of those pit entries here, it's a long time on pit row, so you sort of get a bit impatient whether or not they've accidentally disconnected. Have they got pit limiters, the 86s? I think they do, don't they?
Yeah, they do, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe he's either just activated it late or got a bit impatient and tried to steal a couple of kph here. And the problem with being digital in the digital world is you just can't get away with it.
Yeah, you can't, and you actually enter at quite a high speed before you hit the yellow witches cones.
Yep.
So you've got to time it right, and if you go a couple of k's over, that's it. You're done, unfortunately.
Yeah, crossover here is, oh wow, that was Glenn Boyd trying to find his way through on Moz. There was almost some contact, and he looks quicker, Glenn Boyd here, although Moz will hold his own, but Boyd just trying to find a way through. Big downshift and around this sweeping right down the hill. You just got to look to the inside, get off the throttle, back on the throttle. I love that you can hold the gear through there and feed it down the hill as the slow moving lapped car gets out of the way nicely. But yeah, these 86s having a good run mid-pack. We should quickly chat about Jesse, who's having a ripper night tonight. P9 outright, inside the top 10 overall, but P1 in class and 24 seconds clear of Billy Martindale, the next person racing against him for this Class B trophy. So how good's Jesse tonight? He's jumped out of the blocks on fire.
Jesse's doing really well. We've got Jesse in our Discord, and you can tell when he's concentrating because he goes really quiet, doesn't he?
It's like Greg.
Yes.
That's all right, Luke. I lost one of the poodles.
Mate, you're still going around. Well, you know what we should do? We'll have a look at his lap time and see how consistent he is, Mr. Holmes. We'll have a quick look here. We've got...
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at this. A 50.1, a 50.2, a 50.0, a 50.5, and a 50.8.
Wow.
To me, that's very consistent.
It's all over the place.
Very good as we see a pass here, Boyd. And it's on. Once again, Moz there as well, and Matty T. This will be the last lap of the race, so we'll keep an eye on the front too, and we'll go through the field and have a look at Jack Boyd as well, who's having this, the 2 speedy boys, the 2 boys that got nabbed in the pit lane for speeding back in 13th, 14th, and still having a battle. It would have been nicer to see this at the front, of course, engage with Lee Harrison and Canto, but so be it. They've been naughty. They have to serve their timed penalty tonight and then run here towards the back of the order. We'll be outside the top 10 for a Casher and a Boyd. That's pretty rare.
That's going to shake the points up, isn't it?
Aaron Oliver too. We're just watching him, and your teammate Damien, he's just watching this in front unfold, and he's in P5. He's probably thinking, all right, if these two wipe each other out, that's my podium. Come on, boys. Here we go.
That'll be your strategy for sure.
And he's going to look down the inside. Not the best place to have a look. He gets through, though. Good pass, Aaron Oliver. That's a ripper. And then Losh has a look as well. Tries to go through. Thinks better of it. Now he'll get a better run down the hill. And, wow, this is a good little battle. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Battling like it's for P1 here after, like the last lap of a Bathurst 1000. This is great. So who's your winner at the front? Who wants to make a prediction here? We've got Lee Harrison. A bit of traffic in front too. One of the MX-5s. It's going to be Harrison or Canto. Out of these three, Aaron Oliver holds 3rd. Loshy is back up into 4th. Now there's contact. Mel just drops back a bit. That'll take him out of the battle, I think. So now it's going to be between Oliver and Losh for the final podium position. But we'll go back to the front because he's walking away with it. And I did predict this early. He's been quick since the get-go tonight. Lee Harrison is a superstar tonight. He came out on fire. He probably could have got a double, but he threw the first one to the weeds, and here he is bringing it home for a win in race 2.
Yeah, I think Dylan lost a little bit of time behind that lap car there,
Yep.
so that might have taken him a bit out of contention there.
Which is a pity, but like I said, I think Lee deserves this one. He's just got one big braking zone to go. He needs to get this right. He's been super on the brakes. We saw him so late on a couple of occasions tonight, and this time gets it done perfectly, turns it onto the pit straight, flash the headlights for Canto. It's not going to be good enough. It's going to be a win in race 2 to Lee Harrison for Pro Karts Race Centre, and he gets the win over Dylan Canto. Aaron Oliver does get P3 in the end ahead of Wayne Losh by the smallest of margins. Then it's Neville Hobson claws his way back to 6th. What a great drive by Hobbo there, and just to come back and get something out of that. 7th for Fenton. Cody Harrison gets 8th. And Jesse, put your hands together. There's a win for the MX-5s. P9 outright tonight, and a win in the MX-5 for Jesse Carriage. Great job. Billy Martindale will get P2. He's a heck of a long way back, but he'll get 2nd in class. And John Thorne looks like he's going to get 3rd, or is he? Because Darren Linus just sneaks in front and will stay with this little battle between 3rd and 4th in the MX-5 class. And Thorne comes back at him down the inside. Darren needs to try and hang it round the outside, which he does. He goes the long way around. Will he try and sneak up the inside? Oh, he does. He throws everything at it. And almost a bit of contact, but it will be Martindale who comes home 2nd. And Johnny Thorne hangs on for a 3rd in class. Darren Linus drops back to P4. So good little battle towards the end there. That was good to watch. And yeah, we are done for another round of the Roadster Rumble. Greg bringing it home with the poodles in the back. Music on high. And through the final corner. Give it a slide, Greg. Come on. Runs to the line. Comes home.
Those incident points.
9th place. So, yeah, let's get some comments shortly from the drivers. We've got them standing by, so we'll bring them in for a chat. And let's go results in a second, but we might even go to Class B first. And we'll see if we can get Jesse in, who's standing by. So congratulations, Jesse. What a great win, man. You P9 outright. Incredible. So mixing it with the big guys and doing yourself proud tonight. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. I think we had the pit strat down pretty on the money tonight. So that definitely gave me a big boost above the rest of the field for my class. So, yeah, that was good.
And obviously, top 10 in a slower car is a massive effort, but out there, was there much racing for you, or was it just sort of been consistent tonight and that's what's paid dividends in the end?
Yeah, definitely not a whole lot of door rubbing for me tonight. It was more of just get my head down, try to tack on the back of a 86 and just run away with it. So once we got the fuel numbers in earlier on yesterday and tried to get the pits down super quick, so yeah, I think that's what really paid off for me today.
Oh, great drive, man. Well done. So congratulations. Anyone you want to thank for the win in Class B?
Just my teammate Anthony. He's a legend. Couldn't be here tonight, but he puts in a lot of time and effort for us. So yeah, this one goes out to him. Great
drive, man. Congratulations on the win. Class A now. We head up to Lee Harrison, who, mate, I said you probably threw the first one to the weeds when you lost it on that turn, but race 2, that was all class, mate. Great win.
Yeah, race 1, I kind of stood on my old boy there and made a bit of a meal of it, but good redemption in race 2 after qualifying on pole as well. So yeah, it was good to battle it out there with Dylan at the end, and it was a good fun race.
Yeah, Dylan, you did a good job too, mate. From the get-go tonight, you looked aggressive and fast, but just couldn't get the win there at the end.
Yeah, it was a great battle in both races, especially the first one. We had like 5 cars, but I think I got screwed over at the end by a lapped car, which screwed up my run to pass Lee at the end.
Yeah, pity, but it was good racing, mate. And like I said, you just came out of the blocks from race 1, that first downhill start. Anything different tonight? You love this track, or is it just, you know, you've been putting a bit of practice in? You look really good.
It's one of my favourite tracks.
Yeah.
I've got a artwork of it in my room.
Very cool. No, great drive. And Aaron, P3, man, you had to hold off Loshy and Neville at the end there. Some really good fights between you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, I'm more just happy to be on the podium, to be honest. I'm actually just happy to be racing. It was only minutes before qualifying and I had no screens working, so I got a shout out to Moz, you know, for really helping me just before qualifying to get out there. So yeah,
those last minute tech dramas we all dread, man. Well done to get you out there and on the grid. So quickly, let's do some thank yous. Lee, we'll start off with you, man. Who would you like to thank for the win tonight?
Yeah, Pro Karts Race Centre for putting on an awesome sim for me. That's anyone in Adelaide needs anything, come down to Pro Karts Paraka and we'll get you sorted. Sprint Master Racing Karts, Soddy Karts Australia, and all the admins of the league to putting it on, especially Greg and Extreme Air Conditioning. They do an absolutely phenomenal job. So yeah, everybody get aboard.
Well done, mate, and great race tonight. Dylan, P2, who'd you like to thank?
All the admins that put in a lot of hours to get this league running, and yourself for putting up a good stream.
Thanks, mate. And then finally, Aaron Oliver with the P3 tonight, up 9 spots. Who'd you like to thank, Aaron?
Yeah, for sure. I just got to thank Moz again, you know, and the sponsors and all the league guys, you know, Penrod Oil, Joe Morano from Harcourt's Real Estate, Palmer's, and MB World Engineering Co.
Well, mega driving. And before we go, we just also want to bring in John Thorns here. John, well done, mate. In Group B tonight, you got yourself a P3 podium. Congratulations.
Yeah, pretty stoked to be honest. Really tough race from the start. It was really tight through all the turns. Missed a bit of carnage, which was sensational, and managed to snag another podium this week.
Mate, I think you drove through the middle of that big melee. There's about 6 or 7 cars flying in the air and smoke everywhere. Bit of damage on your car, that would have affected your performance. So to continue to run and get a P3 is great.
Yeah, look, I love this track. Seem to be getting faster and faster every time I drive it. But yeah, Darren Linus at the last main straight, last corner, gave me a run for my money, which put my heart in my mouth. But yeah, look, sensible and wise, we came out on top.
Well done tonight. So there's your top 3 in Class A, and also Johnny coming in for a quick chat from P3 in Group B. Greg, we'll wrap it up shortly, but mate, another good night of racing. Good track, I love Spa. Where are we off to next week?
And next week we've got Magny Cause, the first time, so that'll be interesting. And then we'll give everybody a week off, and then we'll bring it home with Phillip Island and Bathurst.
That'll be a big one, yeah. So, mate, I was just saying earlier in the night, I can't believe we're at round 5 already. So yeah, 6, 7, 8 to go, isn't it? So 3 more to go after this. Yep.
Just 3 more rounds. And yeah, it's really starting to tighten up now after tonight's results, so that's good.
Very good, right? Well, thanks again for all your hard work, man. All the sponsors, and big thanks too for Andrew Dutch coming in for a chat again tonight, keeping me company, been a massive help. Andrew, I love the comments, man, and Damien as well. Join us and some good wise words there. So thanks for your time, boys.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks, Luke.
Righto, we'll see you next week for the Roadster Rumble. Thanks, boys. There's your, just when we finish up there's your results on the screen for the outright results, and we'll quickly flick down that so you can see your favourite drivers, and what a good race it was tonight. But Lee Harrison in the end took the win, and he was absolutely solid throughout both races, but got the just deserved result in race 2. That's all for me tonight. We've got F3A tomorrow night. Come and check that out, and then I've got the rest of the week off. So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, F3A. Thanks for everyone that tuned in tonight. All the comments, you're absolute bunch of legends. We'll see you soon. Good night.